if you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you guys are interested in a personal session, check out my website, readingswithbreanne.com. Let's dive into the topic for today. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are on this journey. I hope you guys are doing fabulous. And thank you for joining me on yet another tarot reading for you guys today. Now, I have been seeing articles and videos and topics on a specific haunted Annabelle doll, and I was honestly really on the fence about doing this video, and I'm going to explain a little bit about why I decided to do one, because I have to say, you guys, I have personally had a really big interest in paranormal and spirits. I mean, I loved watching horror shows and all of that stuff growing up. And I have to say, like, as I've kind of worked on myself and have, moved along my journey over these past few years, from my perspective, again, use your guys' discernment, but this is not something that is a joke. It's not something to be played around with. It's not a trend. It's not some kind of a thrill ride. We are looking at actual parasitic entities here, and every time we give it attention, it siphons energy. And that's why when I seen all these videos, and I was like, I'm not gonna do a video on this, because again, even you guys, curiosity does feed it energy. But at the same time, I think this is also an extremely important topic to talk about. So I wanted to dive into this. I have looked into the energy slightly off camera with this Annabelle doll, and I do think it has parasitic entities attached to it. And I mean, whether you guys believe it or not, it's not about belief. It is about resonance. It's about frequency. And it's just really, I truly say this from the bottom of my heart. It is not something to just go play with lightly. So I wanted to look into this a little bit deeper. We can pull a few cards on this and then see what messages come out. But I really wanted to share that with you guys as well. Now, the article that I was looking at here, originally a few days ago, there were some suspicions that this doll has went missing, and it's also linked to a fire that happened. But the one article I'm reading here, it says, usually this doll is housed at the Warren's Occult Museum, founded by, again, a paranormal investigator, Ed and Lauren. Now, in May, it says the doll had made a stop in New Orleans, but when some visitors didn't spot the doll, there were speculations that the doll was missing. So I believe this doll is also on tour, which also should not be happening, you guys. It says here that she was traveling around the U.S. on the Devils on the Run tour hosted by New England Society Research. So let's pull some tarot on this and see what messages we can get and go from there. All right, lovely souls. So let's see what Spirit can share with us when it comes to this Annabelle doll. What can you share, Spirit, with this Annabelle doll and its energy? All right, well, we got the Annabelle doll there. Two of Cups reversed. King of Swords, 7. Okay, I was going to say this before I pulled here. When I was connecting to this before, because I have looked into this and I have seen it in terms of it having actual entities connected to this. I seen 7, so 7 entities. It's almost like it's not just being kind of, let's say, possessed by one specific entity. There's something about 7, and that's what I got really strongly. All right, so there's quite a bit going on with this, you guys, and that's why I do think it is a really important thing to discuss as well, because if you look at this past energy, we have a King of Swords here, and this is often like a authority that is abusing. It's like an occult ritual. So I feel like there has been a lot of darkness behind this Annabelle energy and this doll for a very long time. And you know what's actually really interesting too? You guys can't see it, but I have my other deck sitting over here, and on the bottom I have my star. Yes, look at that star and the 10 of Pentacles. So I have the star underneath that, and I keep seeing like actual this doll, the energies, okay? It is a sense of a certain elite energy, because this is my elite energy being manipulated with this. So this could be very much used in rituals, and I get very strongly something about this doll being consumed of or like made up of 7 entities, and they're parasitic, you guys. It's not love and light here, okay? So very much this is, I feel like, used and calculated in terms of a lot of even celebrity figures. I feel like this was an entity and entities, like 7 of them, that have been utilized to gain power here. And I'm almost wondering though too, the 7 of Cups is like, I'm wondering, you guys will have to let me know if you guys know more about this, but I'm wondering if there's more than one Annabelle doll. It's almost like a sense of replicas, and there's like one, the original, but I'm also getting there could potentially be replicas that are like, you know, out there as well. So overall, I do think that there is something very parasitic, very dark, that protects the energy or protects this so-called Annabelle doll. And the 2 of Cups in reverse is showing a lot of energetic contracts and agreements that are being made with these entities. And I think a lot of stars, like celebrities, big names, you guys, big names, and elites behind the scenes have used this actual specific Annabelle energy. So very interesting here. So we have the World in reverse. So this is a completion of a cycle that has not closed out here. So this is, I really do not think that this Annabelle doll should be moving across the US or wherever it's going on some tour. Not a good idea here. We can pull a couple cards and see if there's any relations to this and that recent fire that happened as well. But we also have the Temperance in reverse on the back of the deck here too. Now my Temperance card is usually my amazing Archangel Michael card, and it's all about harmony and alignment, but guess what? It's in reverse here. So when we look at this, this is showing us as this tool, like the Annabelle doll being an object that is, you know, inverted. It's opening gateways instead of, you know, sealing them. So I gotta say, there's a lot of like multiple mixings of energies here when it comes to mimicry, when it comes to parasitic frequencies. And you know, it's like emotional hijacking with when working with the energy of others when they interact with this Annabelle doll. Now again, I think why this is so highly protected here too by certain forces is because, again, look at this. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse, aspecting the Lovers with that World in reverse that is left open here, something that is unfinished here. And the King of Pentacles in reverse is showing me a lot of greed, a lot of materialism. Again, I get very strongly, you guys, that celebrities, a lot of them have mingled with these specific dark forces and the Annabelle doll. So very interesting, but that's coming out very strong for me and my energy. I mean, you guys can take it and leave it. Please use your discernment. But I really get this as an occult and entertainment with the elites, and they are financially and energetically benefiting from it. So there are certain parasitic entities that are protecting that, you know, Annabelle doll itself here. Let's pull a couple cards on the that recent fire that happened as well and see what comes out, see if there's any connections. Let me just find the article quickly. All right, so I did find it here. It says, is the haunted Annabelle doll to blame for the plantation fire? The internet says yes. All right, let's see what we can get today, Spirit. What can you share? Was there any correlation between the Annabelle doll and this plantation fire? Wow. Look at that. Look at that card, you guys. There's that, you guys, there's that 7 again. I'm telling you guys, I very strongly get that this Annabelle doll is made up of 7 different entities. That's what I keep getting. So very interesting. But let's look and see what we have. Is there any connections to this doll and the fire? So this is actually really interesting, you guys. I do think it has some connections with this fire, especially look at the 10 of Wands. Look at the fire in the situation. Now, what I see in terms of like why and what is happening here, I do think that its energy is, or these entities are weakening, and they're trying to become more grounded and, let's say, trying to root their energies into the ley lines, because we have resistance here. So we have the Hangman in reverse. There's a resistance, and the fact that the Empress is that you have the Empress, you guys, and the Emperor. There's lots of major arcanas that came out for this one too. And we have them in reverse with the Hierophant in reverse. This is kind of trying to free itself, trying to expand its darkness, expand its entity, parasitic energy. And I'm wondering, I'm getting as well, I haven't looked too much into that plantation place itself, but I'm wondering if that specific location actually had a lot of heavy energy. And it's like an attempt to release and free that energy to, again, create more of that destruction in the energy and the ley lines for the outer world here. So quite interesting. I do think it has connections to it. But let's pull a few cards in terms of like, how was it successful then? Because I do get a bit of it, like, did this backfire or did it actually gain more power? Let's see what the Spirit has to say. Has this been something that backfired with this energy? I want to say yes, but there are some concerning energies here still. What can you share, Spirit, with the energy or the question of the Annabelle doll and the fires? Was it successful? Was it successful at unleashing or gaining more power? All right, so it's kind of interesting here because I think initially there was like almost a surge of power, but it looks like it's just like fighting to also hang on, because the intensity of the power that it used to have is weakening. And that's why I think it's also trying to anchor into, I get a lot with this Empress, Mother Earth. This is the ley lines, this is the divine. But this is earth, right? It's trying to anchor its energy into the earth to gain more power. And it's not as successful as, it doesn't look like it's being as successful as it wants to be, which is a good thing. But there's a sense of it trying to fight and really integrate itself as much as possible, but there's a disappointment here. So overall, it looks like, yes, I do think it does have some connections with this fire here, and the whole reasoning behind it is because it's trying to unleash more parasitic entities. It's trying to become again more powerful, but it doesn't look like it was. I mean, it had an initial bout of it potentially here, but it didn't get its full potential here. It looks like there was definitely some stuff that backfired here with it. You know what, you guys? I almost wonder too if, like, how the whole Diddy case is going on right now too. It's almost like there's something big about the occult, about trafficking, about rituals with this doll. I wonder, since like all of a sudden this doll started getting a lot of coverage in media, if there's any links to it with Diddy as well. And the Two of Pentacles here is, this could be a switch. Again, I am getting a high potential that there's multiple dolls, or there's replica Annabelles that are moved around here. So why don't we ask what can be done here? What advice and messages can Spirit share when it comes to this kind of situation with the Annabelle doll? Let's see. All right, Spirit. So what can you share about the advice, and let's say like the energy of deactivating this vessel? So what can you share about removing and deactivating the energy of this Annabelle doll? What advice do you have for the lovely souls? Okay, we have 9 of Pentacles reversed. A lot of the same energy again. Judgment. Yes. Wow, almost same energy. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. And there's that King of Swords yet again. So this is still really interesting how we're getting really similar energy with each pull here. I absolutely think that it is like holding on here because it's weakening its power, or its power is weakening with the with where we are headed on an energetic collective level. So it's like the codes, Mother Earth is awakening, things are opening up, and these darker energies are having a harder time to hold on. It's like all the cabal, all the deep state, right? That is still my cabal, my deep state card too. But what I get here is like, it's interesting because it's almost like it needs to, in order for it to be like removed there, it's almost like it has to be burned. But I'm not just saying like taking it and chucking it in the fire. There's something very very much about like, it's like a ritual that has to like close it out to weaken and deactivate this vessel. Annabelle doll, it's not that it's just this haunted object. I see it as this object as that has been used as a ritual vessel, and through this it has really encoded a lot of parasitic entities, and there are lots of people that have fed off of that energy for their own gains here. So there is a lot when it comes to like material greed and that sort of thing. But again, you guys, it is very important to also to know is like, when you're looking at entities and attachments, they only have access to your space if you allow it, if you permit it here. So all in all, my friends, I was really kind of on the fence about doing this because, again, on one hand, one side of the coin, it's like I'm still contributing to the energy of talking about this. But on the other hand, I think it's really important to bring awareness to this kind of thing as well. So hopefully I can be a voice for you guys to, give you that reminder to, not be naming her in rituals, not be trying to chase her story, not to really kind of feed into that fear, feed into the doorway of her energy. So again, my recommendation too, when we look at this, when it comes to certain, let's say, beings that are not of the best and highest good, you guys, really commanding your field is important. Visualization, yes, protecting yourself in a shield, but you guys also want to do this from a state of empowerment. You're not trying to like protect yourself and cloak yourself and shield yourself out of fear, because that is still you leading into that fear, if that makes sense, right? So it's really about commanding your energy, commanding your reality, and collapsing permission, so you're not allowing these energies to be in your life, to enter through your field. Because again, when you look at these kind of energies and entities, they're parasitic. They feed through fear, they feed through obsession, and addictions, right? For example, I mean, there's lots of other things, but those kind of energies is what the parasitic entities feed off of, right? So it's about making conscious choices, evaluation. We have judgment. So it's like waking up. It's a wake up call, right? And I mean, it's not about trying to be in fear. It's really about just commanding and sealing your energy. So I hope that gave you guys some insight as well. Like, look at that King of Swords. I mean, the swords again is all about clarity, communication. It's directly commanding. Look at that Ace of Swords on the back of the deck. Yes. So really, it's not about running from it. It's just about not inviting these energies into your life. Okay. So I love you guys. Let me know if you have questions, topics, thoughts, but I wanted to share that with you, and I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and until next time, lovely souls, bye for now.